kind of load of bullshit am I going to hear now? Great. Another on the move. Oh, joy to the world. More Misha Klein. Fantastic. So, hey, Mish, you're not driving, obviously. It sounds like you're pacing in your house. That's what it is. I can hear the familiar creak of your Pergo floorboards. Yeah, what's going on? Nothing. Nothing's going on. And that's the subject of today's episode, nothing. The importance of nothing. You know, when I sit down and meditate, the thing that I really want to be thinking about is nothing. Yeah, that is the secret sauce. If you can get to that zone, ooh, you get everything. You get the epiphany. You get the gnosis. You get the bolt of lightning striking your body and letting you know everything. But first you gotta get to the nothing. The nothing. Great movie. What is that? With the dragon and the kid and the book. Dragons are so key. Me and my cousin's kid and my lovely wife and my kid, my son, went to go see How to Train Your Dragon. And I don't know which movie had more CG in it, the live action version or the CG version. They both had probably equal parts. I think maybe this one had more CG in it. Because you had to process and color correct the digital files once you've digitally shot them and digitally manipulated them. But it was kind of a rehash of the same old shit. Nothing terribly new there, but I do like seeing humans riding atop dragons. I think that's actually speaks to a deep, 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 deep layer of my soul. Because I don't know if I told you guys this, but I have a dragon. And I ride that dragon. It is fucking fun as hell, dude. And, every dragon's a little different, but my dragon likes a lot of that up and down shit, like snake-like up and down, undulating up and down. Lots of that. I think that's, like, his wings aren't big enough, so he has to use his whole frickin' snake-like body to actually move through, 0G, however they do it. Dragons. The serpent in the rainbow, baby. The feathered serpents that they are. Just magical, mythical creatures of old. Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna deny the reality. Dragons. I know way too much to deny their existence. Because I got one. I have my own dragon. I know you got a dragon. I encourage you to think about your dragon and how it flies. Remember how it flies. And when you're riding your dragon, just tell us in the notes below how it feels. It's pretty wicked fucking. It's better than a roller coaster, I'll tell you that much. Good Lord. And I think dragons like to be ridden. They like gold and jewels and breathing fire and all that shit, but they also like the companionship and the adventure that goes along with the relationship with humans. Or at least my dragon does. My dragon loves to fucking, when I mount up and just fucking ride that baby. And I don't do a whole lot of, giddy up and pulling on the reins and all that. I just go. I'm like, you tell me, homie. I'm along for the ride. Along for the ride. Yeehaw. Ándale pues. Yeepa. Caliente. Dragons are fun, especially when you're warring with a little neighboring village and you just torch that baby up, and then as you fly away you look back and that beautiful kind of all that stonework they've been doing, the hand carved heavy granite stonework, it kind of looks like a mountain. When you're done, it looks like a melted mountain. You're just like, wow. In a handful of generations, somebody's going to, look underneath some vines and some shrubs and some dirt, and they're going to find this half-melted, huge mansion. They're probably going to mistake it for a mountain. But right now, they're not raping and pillaging my crew. I gotta keep an eye on my crew here. So you do your due diligence. You go over and you take care of business with your dragon. And those sad saps just haven't learned how to ride a dragon yet, or tame one. So you could take advantage, because that's a powerful, majestic creature. I try not to do that. I'm all about justice. They got what was coming to them, and that's enough. Oh, war analogies are so fun these days, aren't they? Just like, oh God, might makes right. Drop a couple missiles, just pull over in your stealthy B-52 and just take care of business. Can't have people, with things that we have like nuclear weapons. No, you gotta surgically strike. You gotta just keep some people in the Stone Age. What else is going on in the Naked City? Yeah, Gus and I are maybe going to do a little Lego movie together. We're ramping up. He got a lot of Legos for his birthday. And I think we're going to build a big mansion out of Legos. And I'm going to suggest to him, why don't we torch it up and see how those Legos melt? I don't know, that's the kind of dad I am. I'm just like, hey, Gus, you wanna light just the corner of our house on fire? And Liz will overhear me go, Misha, come on. He's like 9 years old now, Mish. He's at an age he knows how to use a lighter and strike a match. Don't do that. Don't make those kind of suggestions, Mish. But honey, I'm getting on his level, being a kid. Why do you gotta come down on me so harshly? Get your mind right, son. Yeah. So we're, probably not gonna do that. Fucking joy kill. Just, bad cop had to step in and fucking lay down the wall, whatever, right? Whatever. Moving on. There's other things to do. We might do an epic space battle, some kind of Star Wars because, you know, dude, he loves the Star Wars, and he loves the Star Wars Legos. Gus told me this, because he also loves YouTube, and that's where he, you know, gets most of his information. You know, I take him out in the woods and teach him how to hunt and stuff, but then he gets the rest of it from YouTube. And on YouTube, the other day, he learned that if it wasn't for Star Wars coming out with their own set of Legos, the Lego Corporation would have gone under. They would have been bankrupt. They would have been belly up if it wasn't for this merger. You know, like, hey, let's cross license. I scratch your ribs, you scratch my back. Why don't we split the proceeds? Yeah, we'll slap the Lego thing on there. It'll be a legit, real deal Lego. But we'll do it with your big blockbuster movie franchise. How about that? And so now we got Lego sets of everything. And Lego is just expanding. I mean, Jesus, they got Lego Land. It's like Disneyland, but more of them, like more powerful and more focused and more, I don't know, just more options, you know? It's not like a Universal Studios, like, oh, I guess we're going to have to do something with our own, you know, tentpole franchise bullshit. Well, it's, you know, Lego could be like, I want to do a little Harry Potter now. I want to do a little Marvel comic book. I want to do a little Minecraft. I want to do a little Star. They can do it all because their licensing department is just like making friends all over town. And is it, you know, who owns Lego? You know, what's the BlackRock? You know, BlackRock's owning that motherfucker, right? Probably put some nanotechnology in their fucking Legos just to keep an eye on everything. I'm sure Gus's big pile of Legos is listening to every word of this bullshit, laughing their ass. Just like, you know, release the biotechnotic gas. And then they push a little button, beep. His big pile of Legos just like turns into this green puff of smoke that I walk through. You know, turn into a frickin' zombie. Just, you know, submit to everything. I'll take the mark of the beast right now. Oh, yeah. I want a digital ID. And I want to supersize that Big Mac with a Pepsi. You know what? Let's do a Mountain fucking Dew. Yeah, I'll take a Mountain Dew. And all my assets digitally locked to the chain, the blockchain, yes. And could you just manipulate all that stuff so that if I do anything wrong, you can just turn it off. Turn that spigot off for me. Thank you. Wow, that is a... Breathe deep. What is that, Lego I smell? God, that's good. BlackRock. Jesus, they need a... Somebody needs to make a 3-part, like, movie series. You know, like Lord of the Rings style epic about BlackRock. You know, like, who's in charge? What's his name? Bezos? No. I'm sure he's a funny, half-bald looking white dude, right? What's his name? God damn it. Larry Fink. That's a BlackRock name. Fink. Larry. Larry's one of those, you know, those kind of creepy uncle names. Larry. I like the name Larry because I know a Larry and he's a really cool dude. But Larry Fink. That's once you put the Fink on Larry, you're like, uh-oh. Not so cool now. Larry Ho. Larry Ho is a badass. Let's talk about Larry Ho. Post guy down here in L.A. Of course, he might be up in Portland now. I don't know. I haven't seen Larry in a while. But I did work with him about a year and a half ago. That was fun. About a year ago, maybe. And it's so crazy. You know, you work in stop motion, and you dish stuff off to these post people, and it could go in any dang direction. And Larry was the animation supervisor on Hell and Back, which was a movie that I was the animation supervisor on. He was the post supervisor on it. And so a lot of effects were, you know, we came up with together, like how does the water work, how do the portals open and close, how does you know, the physics and the flames and the magical elements of this world operate. What does it look like? That was fun. I mean, you know, terrible movie, whatever. Shitty budget, crappy schedule. But it was fun, like, you know, working with other departments to conceive of effects. And Larry was great. He was a great partner. And he replaced this guy Colin Miller, who I was pretty good friends with, but Colin Miller has recently passed away. I'm sorry to say, because I worked several jobs with Colin Miller, and he was bloody talented, had a great eye, but could sometimes be a little gruff with his crew. But he would turn that stuff in on time and on budge. He was, I don't know, I'm tipping my hat to you, Colin Miller. This bud's for you, brother. Post-production is an art. It's not just a button on some AI plugin. It is an art form, and everybody brings to it their own flavor, their own magic, their own thumbprint. But I want to get back to Larry Fink, because, you know, I mean, here's a guy who owns 75% of the world GDP, whatever that means, gross, something's gross, G, D, P, double penetration, no, DP, director of photography, gross director of, gross, I don't know, has something to do with money, I think. But yeah, Larry Fink. I got nothing. I got nowhere to go with this. I'm just fucking. Maybe this episode's over. What do you think? Should I just? I'm gonna pull out my phone. Pulling up the app. Oh God, I'm 19 minutes into this motherfucker. Shit. Yeah, I think I should pull the chute. Well, it's been nice flying with you guys. This is the captain. I've got an eject button and a parachute. You guys don't. But I would hang on to those gas masks. Oh, we didn't tell you. That's not oxygen. It's this green. Anyway, I gotta go.